In May of 2026, I flew up to Portland and bike-packed to Los Angeles, riding over 1,100 miles down the rocky sea cliffs of Oregon, redwood forests of Northern California, the iconic Pacific Coast Highway of Central California, and sunny beaches of Southern California, with the green hillsides to my left, Pacific Coast to my right, and endless pavement in front of me. Join me as I ride from PDX to LA. Today I ride from Russian Gulch State Park to Gualala Regional Park, just inside the northern border of Sonoma. The plan for tomorrow is to ride from Gualala to Santa Rosa, where I will stay at my friends Don and Carol's and take some rest days. For the past several days I've been fixated on getting to Santa Rosa and just resting. Today it's day 11 of the trip and my body and mind could use some rest, as I can't remember anything particular about today's ride. Sure, the coastline is spectacular, but after spending the past week and a half riding the coast from Oregon, the days blend into one another and I'm having a hard time distinguishing one day from another. My journal entry from today states, "The spectacular vistas of cliffs on the edge of water are losing their impact after so many days of similar views." I can't remember anything singular about today's ride. It all blends in with the previous days of riding. Though my memory can't tell me, the map tells me that I rode through the towns of Mendocino, Little River, Albion, Elk, Manchester, Stornetta, Flumeville, Point Arena, Galloway, and Anchor Bay before arriving at Gualala. I stopped at Point Arena for lunch at the only restaurant open at that moment. The food is not memorable. Can't win them all. I continue on to ride the last 15 miles to Gualala, and the road puts me back into good mood. Even though I'm tired and want to get to camp and rest, I stopped to take some photos of the coastline. The past bikepacking trips, I didn't do too good of a job of stopping and making time to shoot landscapes, so I've been trying to do better on this trip. I'm entering the Gualala Regional Park camping site, and of course I'm going downhill. Why are all the campsites bottom of the hill? Okay, enough belly aching. I finally get to the Gualala Regional Park and find the hike and bike campsite situated next to the Gualala River. It's pretty nice. Okay. Hey there. Ha. Here we go. I set off from Gualala Regional Park and I can only think about getting to Santa Rosa and taking some time off. My mind is tired and my body's falling apart. And maybe because I know the rest days are near, my body is letting go of being stoic and expressing itself more. The burning sensation whenever I start biking after stopping is getting more intense and lasting longer. And the pain from the right shoe is becoming so unbearable that I finally resort to wearing the sandal on the right foot while keeping the biking shoe on the left. It's strange to be unable to pull up with the right foot and have it slipping about on the pedal. These are the type 2 kind of moments. The moments we conveniently forget about or repress in our minds when we look back on the trip after the fact and someone asks if we would do it again. Of course we'd say, it wasn't that hard. Today's riding starts out like previous days of riding. Spectacular coastline on the right, green hills on the left, cool ocean air, cars whizzing by at high speed, riding up hills, descending down hills. Before I turn inland towards Santa Rosa, I have one last hurrah descending down the many curves and switchbacks of the PCH approaching Russian Gulch State Beach. I always say there's nothing like flying down hills to make you feel like a kid again, but this descent is more like a racetrack, so it's very serious, this kind of fun. I make a left onto 116 at Jenner at 3:30 and finally get on some familiar grounds from the times I spent in Sonoma over the years, although not familiar enough, apparently. In my excitement of getting on familiar territory, I decided to skip stopping at the Duncan's Mill General Store for lunch, even though the map clearly shows I still have 30-some miles to go. Maybe my tired brain is remembering the times I drove out to the place and thinks I'll be in Santa Rosa in no time. I pay for this mistake later on Bohemian Highway when I run out of gas and, more importantly, run out of water. I have no choice but to just grind it out until I get to Occidental where I can restock. The cashier at the market in Occidental asked me where I was coming from and I told him about my trip. He mentioned a cyclist on a long trip coming by about 2 years back, then said how he wished he could afford to take time off for such a trip. Yes, I told him. I know I'm fortunate to be able to do this.
Sebastopol city limit. I was on my knees for a while, ran out of water. This is on Bohemian Highway. Oh, it was looking bleak. Got into Occidental, stopped by a convenience store, bought a tiny carton of milk, chugged that down, then bought a bottle of Gatorade. I have this, then I have Joe Rodota Trail, then it's Don and Carol's. O'clock. I made it to my friend Don and Carol's. Now I'm going to pass out for the next 2 days and then hit the road again. Ooh, today was a tough one. I think mentally I was ready to take a rest. So
I ended up staying for 4 days at Don and Carol's. With that concluded the second week of riding. Thanks for watching.